study about the atomic absorption spectroscopy. As last we studied about the flame photometry, the principle is basically the same. In this, we detect the element and concentration of the element in its sample, and we can detect the element and its concentration of the marketed food products like packed products, right? Now in this, the first main like first of all we'll study about the instrumentation. In this, there is the hollow cathode lamp, as we can see this. Here there is the whole lamp is being filled with any, like, inert gas, and here we had cathode and here we had the anode. In cathode, basically it is, here we place the metal of interest. It is the element. In this, the metal that we have to detect, we placed over here. So for example, if we have to detect the Na in the sample, so the cathode will be made up of Na, which is sodium, and here is the anode. Now we'll provide the high voltage among the cathode and anode. Due to this, the inert gas present, it gets ionized and it goes to the cathode. Now when the ionized inert gas will hit the cathode, as we know that the cathode made up of metal of interest like sodium. So when it hit the cathode, the sodium ion will get, will come out. So the sodium ion will form the cloud. So as the sodium get released from the sodium cloud, then the sodium, as we like all the elements absorb the specific wavelength of light and emit the specific wavelength of light when it comes from excited state to ground state. So for example, when the sodium will get excited, and when it comes to the ground state, it will emit the 589 nanometer of the light, right? So this is the characteristic of that sodium. So 589 nanometer wavelength of the light will be emitted, and this will act as an electron source. Now this whole setup is interconnected to each other. So in this we have the sample. The instrumentation is same as the flame photometer. In this we have the sample contain the solvent and the sample. So when it goes to the tube and it goes to the first instrumental chamber is nebulizer, then this sample will be converted. In this, the sample will be converted into tiny droplets, and here already inert gas are present. So the inert gas will carry this tiny droplet of the sample to the upper, to the flame. Now when it goes to the flame and it passes through the flame, then we know that this solute, various processes occur when it goes to this flame. So first is like when the sample, the solute and solvent is both are present. So the solvent will be get evaporated and only the solute will be left. So this is called solvation. After that, the vaporization will occur. The solute will convert it into gas form. Now after that, the atomization or dissociation occur. In this, the 589 nanometer light will fall on that, and this gas molecule will be converted into atomic form, and it absorbs the wavelength of the light, and it goes to the excited state, ground state to excited state. And after that, so by this we know that the sodium only absorbs 589 nanometer of light. So in the gas particles, the light, the 598 nanometer wavelength is absorbed by as many atoms, shows that the presence of sodium atom. By this we can calculate its concentration as well, that how many atoms had absorbed sodium. By that we can calculate the concentration of the sodium atom in that given sample. So the light will pass from the 589 nanometer will pass from the flame, and in this all the reaction will occur, because from here we get the sodium, where they get a sample in which sodium ion are present, right? Now they will emit the remaining light, will be transmitted from the flame. So the light will be transmitted from the flame, will pass the grafting. In this, basically we adjust with the help of software. Here in this we particularly adjust this by the any software to get the particular wavelength that is required. So it will pass to the monochromator, then it passes to the photomultiplier, so it will get intensified, and then we detect that wavelength. Now here is the graph. In this graph we calibrate. In this calibration curve, basically we first take the known sample, in which known concentration and everything we know about that, which element is present, which atom is present, and what is the sample and all. But we'll take another unknown sample, and then we'll put that we perform this given process, and we'll put that calibration curve, right? Now then we measure according to it, and we'll compare from the standard, and then we'll detect that yeah, this specific element is present in this given sample.